Oh boy, howdy guys, this is CoreCat13. I'm a woman with a deep voice, and it is 5:35 a.m. and I'm recording the third video in a row of Demon Turf post-commentary. Yay. No, I don't know what Beebs is doing there, don't ask me. It literally, I think, has been like a week or so since I recorded the video, so I don't know exactly why I was doing that. Anyway, last time we encountered the dual-headed boss known as Gul and Lem, and also managed to finish a lovely level that involved climbing on top of houses. And don't worry, we will be revisiting that stage. Hooray! But this time, we're going to a stage I did not intend to play because I was stupid and I slid. But actually, that kind of worked to my benefit because, as I found out, you have to have 50 batteries in order to get access to the final boss's lair. And I only had 48 somehow. Now, I don't know why. I don't know why the game decided that it needed 50 batteries, and playing through the main campaign and going through every single stage in Worlds 1 through 3 and the first half of World 4 isn't enough. But here we are. So you guys get to see 2 of the bonus levels of World 4. Hooray. Now you actually almost got to see 3, but unfortunately, I could not get one of the challenges to behave. And I was tired, so I decided to skip out on that level. And to be honest, I think it was probably a level that frustrated the fuck out of me. So, honestly, it's not much of a loss. But what is a loss, aside from that, is having to use the lovely time bubble to slow down time so that we don't get hit by that wonderful beam of lasers. And by the way, I think this was the stage where I figured out that the time bubble was capable of expanding by hitting those bells, which was actually introduced in the boss fight, but I didn't notice them because I was so shocked that I was getting this ability in the first place. So, you know, is a thing. I do like this mechanic, though, the fact that the platform is moving whenever you hit the bell. I thought that was actually pretty cool. And honestly, this is a fun use of the freaking time bubble ability, where you're just traveling on a platform and slowing down the obstacle so that you can just kind of enjoy your ride. Now this part right here, I don't know how I managed to do this on my first try. Or wait, no, this isn't the one that I'm thinking of. Though I am kind of shocked that I managed to get it first try. It's the second one that I'm a bit more surprised that I get second try. In fact, there it is. This is the one that I always think of whenever I think of the second half of World 4. Because, I'm not gonna lie, in backtracking, because I'm allergic to putting down checkpoint flags apparently. See, I don't know how I survived that. But yeah, it died a lot at that one particular part right there, but for some reason, the first time I tried it, I survived it just super easily. I don't know how I did it either. I'm still questioning how I managed to do that successfully. I think I was about as shocked whenever I was actually playing it, so that's fun. Yep, there's that yawn. You can definitely tell it's nearly bedtime. But I wanted to at least get this one taken care of because, you know, stuff. Also, failure on the controls. But it's okay because I have the power of video editing, so we don't have to suffer through that again. It's amazing. Honestly, out of all the stages that I tried out for World 4, because I think I tried out like, I think 2 other ones before I landed on the one that I ended up doing in the video. Honestly, the ones I tried were freaking annoying. And just beyond difficult, and I don't know why. I think it was more just like my exhaustion at the time was finally kicking in, and I just wanted to get it done, so... Minimalist run for the win, yay. Now I should mention that there are actually like little side missions and stuff you can do in Forktown that I never did actually do. And I think that's how you extend your badge points or whatever. And I know you can get some additional batteries by doing so, which I guess I could have done that, but I don't know. They don't seem very interesting to me. Okay, yeah, I get it, buddy. You're tired. Ugh, I hate yawning. It's so irritating. Yeah, there's that moon there. Honestly, that actually reminds me of something that I've been dying to talk about for a little while. And that's actually writing stories based on like little nightmares that I've had over the years. Because honestly, some of them are pretty interesting. Like one where I'm in like this weird patchwork world with a bunch of my friends dealing with a bully. It was like a weird Alice in Wonderland type thing, and I don't know how my brain thought of it. It was just fucking bizarre. But I'd had that dream like consistently for weeks. It was almost like an episodic thing. So I guess that was just my body telling me something. I honestly don't know. One that I have kind of frequently, at least for a while, was like my house getting invaded by alligators and other kinds of reptiles and stuff that want to, you know, nom nom. And honestly, I don't know where the fuck that comes from, but I do have it from time to time. It's kind of weird. Let me think. There's one that I had quite often as a child, but I don't really have it nowadays. But it sticks out because it was just an interesting fear I had back then. It was, yeah, honestly, I think I did actually talk about this one, but it's just so weird I have to include it. It was basically like I was 8 years old and I was in the back of my dad's car and we were like going to his place, but we were constantly being tailed by like a series of tornadoes that somehow gained sentience and wanted to like chase us. It was like, I wouldn't say like Twister, but almost like a weird version of Jaws in a way. Which is funny because I didn't see Jaws until I was a teenager, which, by the way, still one of my favorite movies. And I cannot thank my dad enough for introducing me to that movie. So, yeah. Anyway, those are like the 3 nightmares that I like consistently remember being like particularly noteworthy. There was a 4th one that I've already mentioned in a previous video that I actually did post on my DeviantArt because, I don't know, it was just so shocking and so livid, or just so vivid, that I felt like I was actually there. And it was during like my Undertale hyperfixation at the time, and it involved W.D. Gaster, and it was about a young woman who was getting her soul sucked out of her body while being dealt with by W.D. Gaster, who was almost like a demon of sorts that was like sucking her soul dry. And I can't really explain why, but it kind of felt like my own was being sucked out, and I woke up in like a cold sweat and I literally had to walk around the house for a little while. Just trying to like tell myself that it was a dream. But that honestly goes to show just how freaking powerful dreams are. And honestly, if I ever like remember some other ones, like I do like remember a few like from work and stuff that, funny enough, actually did happen a few times. Like they end up weirdly coming true. Like I had one recurring dream or whatever that was like a bully constantly messing with me because, you know, I'm a bit different. And there was a gentleman or whatever that would actually come to my aid or whatever and be like, yo, this isn't cool. And weirdly enough, that did actually happen last year. Or maybe it was earlier this year, I don't remember, but it was so strange because the dream had happened like maybe 2 years, fuck, it could have actually been 3 years ago. And then it just finally happened. I was like, oh, okay, that happened. And then of course there are the few that involve like school and all that. Mainly me just trying to navigate through like a campus or whatever. And for whatever reason, it's always middle school. And I can't explain why. Like sometimes it's college, like a big university, but usually it's middle school for some reason. And I can tell you exactly which campus it is. It was like the second middle school campus that I attended during my last year in middle school, which, at least in my town or whatever, we stop at 8th grade. Which, honestly, I think they might be changing. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it always is just like me getting lost in there. It's just, ugh. It honestly is like some of the scariest stuff. Just because there's always like so many obstacles, so many like really bad people in these dreams. Just, ugh. Ugh. Now the ones at college or whatever, usually are like me in a lecture or whatever. And the professor or whatever like calls me out and like tries to get me to do something, or maybe it's just like me getting lost trying to get to said lecture, or it literally is just me sitting there being bored out of my mind. Or I don't know, sometimes it's like students are bored out of their mind, but I'm like really fascinated, but I'm trying to hide the fact that I'm fascinated. I don't know, it usually is like some sort of physics lecture, stuff like that. And it's like in those like booths and stuff you would see, that's like this big auditorium type thing that you often see in movies and television shows. Like, I'm trying to think of a really good example, but I don't know. That dream kept popping up for a while, and I really couldn't explain why. It wasn't even like when I was in college either. It was literally like after I left. Which I know these dreams have purposes, but still. I don't know. One of these days I'm going to end up like writing them down and just like actually, I've actually been like really thinking about it, and like if I ever made a game or something, it would probably be based on these nightmares, and the whole purpose would be trying to survive the nightmare or trying to figure out like what they're about or something. And then like the next chapter or whatever would be like visiting the next nightmare and trying to like, I guess, become more and more like aware of what's going on in the dreams so that you have better control over them. I don't know. I think it'd be a pretty interesting game. Like a game where you're trying to become more and more of a lucid dreamer and trying to get to the bottom of like frequent nightmares and all that. I'm not really sure how I would set it up though. I don't know if it'd be like a platform game, an adventure game, which I think that'd probably be the most likely candidate, would be like some sort of adventure game. Like, I'm trying to think, like, what a good example would be. Probably Anodyne and Anodyne 2. Probably like Anodyne 2 would probably be the closest example I could think of to like the kind of game I had in mind. It'd be like some sort of like 3D adventure game where once you get into like the major dream sequences, it may end up like going into like a top-down perspective, and the whole idea would be to just try to figure it out. And those would be like the dungeons and stuff like that. Although, again, I don't really know how that would work. The only other one I would choose is like a very unorthodox RPG. Like something like... Oh, what's a really good example? Something like an Everhood or an Amori or something like that. Like, not quite Amori, but something like very styled, kind of like it, I guess. Or, ooh, now that I think about it, this would actually be a pretty interesting game to kind of make similar to Yume Nikki. Basically make it non-linear and try to figure it out from there. Or maybe just have like a central nexus where you can access the 4 dreams or something. And with each passing one that you manage to figure out, you have a much easier time going through each of the other dreams. And maybe there's like an interweaving plot or something that kind of ties into like some sort of anxiety inside the person. But I don't know. I've always been like fascinated by the idea of like games really exploring the idea of dreams and nightmares and trying to piece together like why they are the way they are. And honestly, that's one of the beautiful things, about video games, that they are designed to be interactive things that can honestly be really good character studies that you can't really do in like a book or a movie. But I don't know. I guess another way I could do it is like maybe make it like a dream diary or something and have it like wrap around like a central character or whatever, and the starting point is just like it starts within the dream itself, and for a while the character has issues like differentiating between the nightmares and realities. So like let's say the Gaster nightmare, which obviously I'd have to rewrite it so that it's not obviously Gaster, but like an Iboa kind of figure or whatever, like a black and white blobby type figure that's like sucking her dry, and like start off with that as the primary starting nightmare. I don't know. I think it could be a fun like challenge to do that. But anyway, man, I went on a big tirade there, didn't I? Well, anyway, we've unlocked the gate to the final boss's lair. So I will meet you next time. Thank you for listening to me babble about my weird idea of writing about my dreams and all that. Thank y'all, and I will catch you next time. Bye.
Meow.